guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you are having a more successful season than I am, because this season has been extremely challenging. I have to say, I think it is the most challenging season of growing flowers that I have experienced yet. I've been growing flowers now for 7 years here in East Yorkshire, and I remember in my first year of growing flowers I sat on the floor and cried a lot. And it isn't like me actually to cry, but I just had a lot to learn in my first year. I was kind of getting defeated by weeds. I didn't actually know anything about no dig in my first year, and I just remember feeling totally defeated all the time, and I didn't know where to turn. I didn't have much of kind of a mentor or somebody to look up to for kind of inspiration and advice. And this year kind of feels a little bit like that. I've been experiencing many challenges and setbacks this year, and likewise to season 1 I have been sitting on the floor and crying quite a little bit, and that is because of those setbacks that I've experienced, which I will explain later on in this video. And so because of that, I have been trying to celebrate the little wins that I've been having here on the farm this season, and I'm going to show you a few of those today just to try and keep this on a positive note. It's very difficult to make videos when you are kind of not in a very good place, and it's difficult to talk positively, and I like to talk positively and be optimistic about things, but it's been really difficult to be like that this season, and I don't want to put out content that doesn't kind of resonate with my positive personality, so hence why I haven't been posting a lot of videos recently. But I'm going to show you a few of the things that I've been working on, what's flowering in the field at the moment, and what the plan is for the season ahead in this video. And because of what's happened this season, what I want to do is concentrate now on making more videos, and I would love to know what you would be interested in watching here on the channel. I'm happy to run experiments, put some energy into making some different type of content. So if there's anything that you want to suggest to me, then drop it in the comments below, and I will consider all of those ideas for upcoming videos this summer. So I'm here in my new flower field, and you can see I've been preparing beds behind me, and actually it's been a whole year in the making, this field, because I really wanted to prepare it in a good soil health kind of way, a soil health positive kind of way. So what I did was, last season we came in here with a power harrow and power harrowed up the grass and this area, and then I covered it over with a sheet, plastic sheeting. It was kind of a silage tarp slash visqueen mix of those two materials. The visqueen was actually better because it was which is like a damp proof membrane material. It's a lot thicker than the silage tarp. We don't seem to be able to get kind of a nice thick tarpaulin type material here in the UK, which I've seen on US based videos. Anyway, I was putting plastic on here to kill off the weeds and the grass, which worked really nicely. And then I came in here, I think maybe a month or so later, and I sowed a summer quick fix cover crop, which contained Phacelia, buckwheat, and some kind of clovers, I think. I'll have to remind myself what was in the mix. There was a really nice variety of flowers in the mix, which really made this field so amazing last summer. I don't know if you remember, if you watched some of my videos from last summer, it was so gorgeous in here. It was humming with bees and butterflies and hoverflies, and it was just a really nice experience to be in this field last year. So once that cover crop was finished, I mowed it down with the lawnmower, and I came back in with the tarpaulins and put those over to finish off the cover crop to make sure that it was fully dead. And then my next plan was to sow a rye and vetch cover crop over the winter period. And rye and vetch is a really good one to use over the winter here in the UK. And my plan was to grow that and crimp it down in spring. And rye makes a really good kind of mulch on top of the soil. So what I was hoping to do was have the rye lay down on the soil, and it would be kind of a pretty impermeable to weeds mulch that would die down, and then I could put compost on top of that. So the rye would kind of act as a cardboard replacement in a no-dig system. However, rabbits or pigeons got in here and ate all of the rye and vetch cover crop seed, so I didn't actually have a cover crop in here over winter, which I was really sad about this season. So what I should have done in that scenario was covered it back over with the plastic sheeting, just to avoid any seedling germination and just to kill off any weeds that might take hold over the winter period, but I didn't. And I got a lot of dock leaves growing here over the winter and into the spring. But anyway, I took the lawnmower in spring, mowed it really close to the ground, and I started layering cardboard and compost in that side of the field, and then over towards this side of the field I used horse bedding or dirty horse bedding as in a thick layer, and then compost on top, just because I ran out of cardboard and it is quite expensive to buy on the roll and I need a lot of it, and it's just easier to use on the roll. So we've got no ends of horse bedding here, so I just decided to use it in this field, and it seems to have worked okay. The dock leaves have been coming up through the cardboard, but I spent about a week every other day. I came in here and just took about half a wheelbarrow full of baby dock leaf plants, or baby dock plants, and managed to clear it, and they don't seem to be coming back up over there, which is good. So then about a month ago I started planting out into this field. I planted sunflowers and cosmos. What I did first was I planted a patch of lupins just over there, which are actually still there, and I wanted to see whether any pests were going to come and eat those lupins, and they didn't. So I thought it was safe to plant out my sunflowers and cosmos, and I planted out about 700 plants, a mixture of cosmos and sunflowers, and as you can see behind me, it's all gone. Absolutely nothing left, and that is the tale of what happened here in 2024. The rabbits have basically just decimated everything that I've planted. Not to mention I've also had a little bit of problem with slugs. Not as bad as the rabbit problem, and not as bad as mice in the greenhouse. Sorted the mouse problem now. I don't seem to be having a problem with mice, but no matter what I do here in the fields, I have re-fenced, I have put boards around the bottom of the fencing to stop the rabbits digging. We've kind of dug out all of the gateways so that the rabbits can't get under the gateways. And they just keep getting in, they just keep finding ways to get in. Last night I actually had about half of these sunflowers and cosmos left. The horses that you can see behind me, they broke through the fencing, letting the rabbits in overnight and just finishing off what was left in the field. So yeah, there's nothing in this field now. It's absolutely empty, and we're in June, so you can see what kind of situation I'm in. As somebody who grows and sells cut flowers, I'm kind of up shit creek. So it's been really difficult to kind of find the motivation to keep going. I've got hundreds of plants that still need planting out, but I just daren't plant them out, and now they're going to seed in the seed trays. Yeah, it's been challenging. The other thing is that the rabbits had also been getting into my flower field, which was next to my polytunnel, which I planted perennials in over the winter, so they'd attacked quite a lot of the perennials. I actually had originally had that planted out with hardy annuals in about half of the field. I had hardy annuals and biennials, so I had lots of foxgloves, cornflowers, snapdragons, all the kind of hardy annuals and biennials that you can put in at that time of year. So all of those were gone, which meant I didn't have any early spring flowers. Yeah, so thousands of plants lost, thousands of pounds of income lost, and I've had to cancel my subscriptions and any kind of events that I'd signed up for. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to fall back on making the YouTube videos and kind of staying positive and just doing little experiments and like I said, celebrating the little wins. So this is kind of the collection of stuff that I've got to plant out that is remaining after the kind of pillages of the rabbits and mice. So I've got some grasses here, some bunny tails and some Setaria macrostachya, some scabious, some ping pong scabious, which is kind of, I don't know whether that's going to be salvageable because it's getting really kind of leggy and wanting to flower now. Some snapdragons, I pinched those just to try and slow them down a bit yesterday. Lots of snapdragons. There's actually probably a couple of successions based upon my kind of re-sowings of those, and some more grasses, some more scabious, some more snapdragons. This is a new grass that I haven't grown before. Where's the name of it? Can't see the label. It's called Wagenheimia something. Anyway, it looks like a fish skeleton when it's flowering, which is kind of interesting, so I'll try and keep you updated. There's kind of, don't know if I'll be able to focus on that. There's one seed head trying to form there. It kind of looks like a bit of a fish skeleton, but it's apparently sought after by florists, so we'll see about that. In here there's a few more things like zinnias, cosmos, another succession of bunny tail grasses. As you can see, I've had quite low germination rate on some of these trays, and I think the reason is because I have been keeping seed in my shipping container workshop, which is not a good idea because the temperature fluctuates quite a bit and the humidity is probably not constant either. So what I'm hoping to do is put a little fridge in there that I can store my seeds in and keep them nice and dry, maybe with some silica gel packets or something, and hopefully that will help to extend the longevity of my seeds, because quite extreme fluctuations in temperature can vastly reduce the shelf life of seeds. So I think that's what I've done there. That is my fault. I've not been storing my seeds correctly. And then over here I've got the start of all of the dahlias that I ordered this year. That is probably going to be my saving grace this year, if I can protect those from the pests. I will probably have a large amount of dahlias this season, which is going to be very nice after a difficult start to the season. So I think in total I've got about 400 dahlias. There's some phlox and some limonium down here. And in this greenhouse is the rest of the dahlias, and they're about ready to plant out now, but likewise with all of the other stuff, I'm kind of a bit nervous to plant it out because I don't know what's going to happen. So these 3 dahlias were planted out yesterday, and these are my sacrifice dahlias, so I'm going to have them planted out here for a few days and see what comes to get them. And then if the coast is clear, then I'm going to start planting out the rest of them in the next week or 2. And the dahlias should fill these 2 beds here. So this field is going to be kind of 75% full after all of the dahlias are in, which leaves me room to plan to put more perennials in this season. So having this field 75% full gives me the opportunity to start some perennials off from seed and purchase some perennials to fill in the gaps, and that is my hope for this field behind me. It is going to become a perennial field for dahlias, sedum, oxeye daisies, those kind of things that I love to grow. And actually this winter was exceptionally wet, and this field didn't actually have any standing water in it at all. So at the start of the season my plan was actually to put perennials in my new flower field. However, it had standing water in it over the winter, so what I decided to do was move the perennials into this field, which I know doesn't get very wet over winter. It used to, but I think with my management techniques and using no dig, using the broad fork has kind of relieved the compaction in here, and it just doesn't flood anymore. So I've decided to play it safe and put my perennials in this field, and then my annuals can grow in the other field. And that is one of the benefits of setting up the field a year in advance I didn't just set up the field ready for the season ahead and just plant everything out there without thinking about it. I took my time to kind of observe what was happening in that field, and as a result I could make a management decision which results hopefully in me keeping all of these perennials rather than losing them to damp conditions over the winter period. Here's some more stuff that needs planting out. So we've got Ami, snapdragons. I've been taking mint cuttings, so there's plenty of those there to make a mint bed. I've been meaning to do it for years but haven't done because I've been nervous about kind of planting it out and it taking over, but I'm kind of ready to do it now, so I'm looking forward to having lots of the lovely scented mint filler this coming season or even next season. Then I've got some more marigolds here, some more grasses. I think that one is Pennisetum villosum, which is a perennial, so it can go out in this field here. Yesterday I put this compost pile together. This is one of my wins. Yesterday when I came out and I saw that everything had gone, I was like, what can I do to take my mind off it or just to kind of use some energy? So this was kind of filling up with stuff that I just dumped in there. It was kind of a cold compost pile and it was very carbonaceous kind of material. There was a lot of straw, paper, and kind of natural packing materials. So I went and gathered some comfrey and some horse manure, some fresh horse manure, and I just mixed it all together with, actually this one was full of leaves as well, so I mixed everything together, wet it down quite a lot and set it on its way. So it's now about 25 degrees. It's been creeping up, so hopefully by the end of the day and even tomorrow it will be quite hot. One of the things that I would like to do this year with my newfound spare time, now that I don't have any flowers to pick, is to get good at making compost. So I am going to kind of hopefully do a lot of practicing and using different materials, trying different things, and hopefully kind of become a little bit more intuitive about making compost, because I think that's where I need to get to be good at making compost. It's a bit like making sourdough. I started making sourdough a couple of years ago, and I feel like I can do it quite intuitively now, and I'm not quite there yet with the compost. So, and I mean, I guess it's kind of similar because we're working with microbes in both situations. So yeah, hopefully this year I'll get there with the compost making. Last year I think I only made 1 or 2 batches of compost and they came in really handy, and I just wish I'd made more, and that's always the case when it's too late, you just wish you'd made more. So that's what I'm gonna do this year, is try and make lots of compost for mulches and for mixing in with my seed starting mixes, because as you know, I like to add lots of biology into my seed starting mixes and everything from the very start, just to give those seedlings and those young plants a chance to form symbiotic relationships with soil microbes. And when I plant them out into the soils, they already have kind of a team working with them, and they can make the most out of the nutrients that are available in the soil. This year I grew Camasias for the first time, which were in this bed. I probably got some old footage that I can put over this to show you what they were like, and they were a really nice blue colour. I'm trying to go for a nice kind of mix of pastel colours this season and kind of adding a bit of blue and purple to that. I wasn't ever a big fan of blue and purple, but I'm starting to get there with the pastel kind of corally colours. I think it just goes so nicely. So I'm definitely going to put Camasias in next year, and they will go with the ranunculus really nicely. This year I didn't have any ranunculus because of the rabbits, so I couldn't test that formula properly, but I know that it's going to be a winner. So next year when I put my ranunculus in, I will be putting more Camasias in too. And I also have these irises that are quite nice. I'm not 100% keen on these, so I don't know whether I will grow these again. But they are nice when I haven't got much else to look at. And I also have these, not too sure about those either, but because I'm not picking them, they will come back next year, so I will be able to try them with some combinations of flowers next spring. And then we've kind of got a bit of a struggle going on here, trying to pull back from the rabbits. So we've got some Sweet Williams and some cornflowers. The Achillea is looking good, looking quite healthy now, and that's got buds on it, so hopefully we'll have flowers in the next couple of weeks. And then here we've got some Feverfew and some more Achillea and a little bit of a patch of Ami too. So not a lot going on in this section. And here I've just got some small mallow plants. So they've actually got buds on them right now, so that's probably not a great thing. I want them to obviously grow a little bit taller than that. So as you can see, it has been a really difficult start to the season, and I'm hoping that the rest of the season is going to go a little bit better, and I can just use this opportunity to kind of make sure next year is going to be even better, stay on top of the pest issues. We've put a rabbit camera into the field now, even though it should be secure from the rabbits. We've put a camera in to make sure that whatever, even if it's not a rabbit, I don't think it would be deer, but if it was deer or even birds getting at the plants, then at least I can come up with a strategy to kind of prevent that from happening. If it was birds, we could maybe put scarecrows in or some kind of mesh protection to stop them from attacking flowers. So yeah, like I said earlier, I want to kind of try making some more videos again this season. They will probably be based a lot around soil health and compost making and those kind of things that I can experiment with. There will probably be more flower content later on in the season when I've got more variety to pick out in the fields. As you can see, it's quite bare at the moment. I will try and do some come to work with me videos, which you guys have enjoyed in the past. But yeah, let me know what you would like to see and I will work on those this summer. And I just want to say as well, thank you to those of you who've reached out and asked me if I'm okay. Some of you have noticed that I haven't been posting as much lately and have sent me an email or a message on Instagram, and I really appreciate you reaching out just to check that I'm okay. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.